Hi, this is Andrew Bocher with T.C.W.S.M. Fitness. I'm an NCSF certified personal trainer and also an all-natural bodybuilder. I'm actually here to kind of talk more about how to achieve your goals of getting toned and lean and fit, and also six-pack abdominals. We're going to be talking about technique and form. Technique and form are very, very crucial when it comes to actually getting the results you want, that contraction you need to isolate the abdominal area. A lot of the videos on YouTube you'll see are very good informational videos with good exercises, but they don't really specify your exact technique and form you should be doing with certain exercises. Specificity is very important when it comes to exercises because that technique and form is what gives you your results quick. You can do all the reps in the world, but if you're doing them wrong, you're wasting your time. So we're going to go through a couple exercises here on the mat. I'm going to kind of talk you through each one and let you know what you need to be doing. Most people, when they do crunches, they perform it like this. And that is when they're coming up in their crunch, they usually have their hands behind their head and they're pulling with their hands and so they're squeezing their neck up, and it's actually contracting and pulling more on the cervical spine, and that causes a lot of neck problems. And it's also putting a lot of the exercise on your arm pulling you up and not so much your abdominals. So what you want to do is when you get into the abdominal crunch position is cross your hands across your chest. That way you're not using your arms. And when you contract, you breathe out and raise your chin to the ceiling. That way you're facing straight up, so you're getting a full abdominal contraction right where you need it. Okay? So you're going to go down, and you want to control it, so don't be doing this. Okay? That gives you a lot of speed but not a lot of contraction. Okay? So you want to control, breathe, and then slowly control yourself back down. That slow eccentric phase, which is the returning phase at the beginning of the exercise, is what gives you more results. It allows you to contract and control. That way you see results a lot faster. This next exercise is the straight leg raise. A lot of people do this exercise for your lower abdominals. Problem is a lot of people do it wrong. They're always doing a really fast motion. They're using the momentum. When the leg comes down, they use that momentum to bring it back up. I'm going to show you how to do it contracted and controlled. So in the normal leg raise, a lot of people put their hands beneath their butt to support their lower back. The problem is it puts your hips like on a pendulum. So it's really easy to like rock your legs up and rock them down, and the chest comes up off the ground and then you go back up. What you want to do is have your hands very lightly underneath your hips for support. Keep your legs straight and your toes flexed. Okay, so your toes are pointed straight out and your feet are pointed. Have your hands slightly underneath your butt, and if you're pretty strong, you can have your hands straight to the side. And that way you're using a little bit of lower back and also lower abdominals. So for right now, I'll show you with your hands to your side. Keep your legs straight out, go all the way down, slow and controlled, all the way up till you feel that breaking point. Up here, you're pretty much just putting all the weight of your legs on your hips and it's going straight down. But when you stop here, you're keeping that contraction phase of the leg raise. Have your hands here. Chin is facing straight up, nice and contracted core. You don't want to be down because you're relaxed. You want to be right here, nice and contracted core, hands to your sides, going straight down, stopping 6 inches off the ground. If not a little bit lower, just don't let them touch and don't let them rest. Pulling straight back up, right at that pinnacle point, back down slow, breathe. So as you can tell, there's a lot of control in the exercise, and that control is what gives you that contraction that isolates the lower abdominals. If you're rocking yourself back and forth and using that momentum, it's going to actually take away from the exercise. And the goal is to get into the gym or in your house on your days of working out in home, get in, get it done, get results, and get on with your life. The next exercise we have is the actual abdominal bicycle kick. You'll see a lot of people driving their legs back and forth and they kick them out in front and they're getting really intense. Problem is, once again, is control. You don't want to get crazy, because if you start acting crazy, you lose control and you're actually just throwing your whole body into the exercise and not just the abdominals. You should be feeling a pain from your lower abdominal down over the top of your quad. Okay, so you'll be feeling it down here a little bit too because you're working that hip flexor muscle. Okay, that muscle is very, very important when it comes to driving your knee to your chest. So you will feel it in your quads a little bit. That's not something to be concerned with. You'll be feeling your lower abdominals and also in your upper abdominals by keeping yourself contracted. You want to be slow and controlled. Always remember, slow and controlled when it comes to the abdominals. So the bicycle kick looks like this. You're in a position, some people have their hands here, but once again, you're pulling with your head or with your hands
and you're squeezing your head forward, and what that does is when you're doing the bicycle kick, you're really contracting that cervical spine, and it can actually hurt you. So you want to do, have your hands here, or have your hands on a mat holding onto the mat itself, and you want to have your legs out in front, just like the straight leg raise we were doing. But rather than raising both your legs, you drive your knees. Okay, so still keep that toe pointed out in front, driving your knees back and forth. Okay, now don't be driving up here, because all that's doing is just relaxing. It's not very hard. A lot of people just do this motion too. They're just kind of like kicking in the air. You want to drive your legs out in front of you like you're trying to kick somebody right in front of you. Okay, toes pointed, driving out in front. You can have your head, of course, facing straight up, chin to the ceiling like always. Small contraction in the abdominals, driving straight out in front. Okay, you're driving your knees to your chest, back and forth. Now remember, this is a medium pace, so you can go a little bit faster, but as long as you don't start doing this, okay, you don't want to start rocking where you're using your upper body to help move your legs. You want to stay controlled, kicking straight out in front, 6 inches off the ground, right in front of you. Don't kick higher than that. 6 inches is perfect, okay? Right here, driving your knees, chin contract to the ceiling, and breathing. Okay? So once again, slow and controlled, proper breathing. Whenever you contract, you want to breathe out. Okay? If you can't breathe properly, you're probably going too fast. You want to keep it nice and controlled so your breathing stays consistent. Body pike. Now, body pikes, there's different names for it, of course, but I call it the body pike because you're piking yourself up. Your legs are coming up like a V to the ceiling. Your upper body's coming up with a V with your legs as well, and you go back down into full extension. Okay? So the proper way of doing it, of course, is going slow and controlled, like always. Okay? Your hands are going to be behind your head. Okay? With here, you want to have your hands together. I like to make a diamond shape, or just overlap your hands. You're going to come behind your head. Kind of tall guy here, scoot down. Have your hands fully locked behind your head. Okay? Your legs are going to be pointed out in front. Back's flat, abdominals contracted. You're going to breathe. And all the way down. So you're breathing in on the way down and breathing out on the way up. Okay? You want to stay controlled. A lot of the times you get tired, you want to speed it up, and so you lose your breath. You're kind of off breath. Breathing is a very good way of monitoring if you're doing it too fast or too slow. With the body pike itself, your legs should be straight. When you come down, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but your legs don't touch. They stop around 5 or 6 inches off the ground. Okay? And then you come back up. For you beginners, if you need to do this, for beginners who are trying to work on their six-pack abdominals or their lean abdominals, you want to be able to bend your knees a little bit. So rather than keeping your legs straight out in front, you can bend and do the same motion. But when your heels come down towards the mat, you want to stop around 6 inches off. Okay? It's just like you would with a straight leg. So it looks like this. So as you can see, a little bit easier. It takes a little bit of pressure off the lower back. A lot of people are going to find a lot of pain when they do this in their lower back, and that's strictly because your lower back and your abdominals directly correlate with each other. If your abdominals aren't strong, your lower back is usually more dominant, and you're going to feel a lot of lower back contraction. That is common, but you want to be careful with that. In order to kind of cut down on lower back pain, you can bend those knees as much as you can and work from a bent knee position. When it becomes easy, when you're getting to roughly 20 reps and it becomes very easy, you should be able to extend your legs out more, slowly but surely working them out to full extension, and then go from there. So this next exercise is called a sky touch. I call it a sky touch. Other people may call it something different. The sky touch is pretty much like a body pike. Okay, it's just like the last exercise we did, the body pike, but rather than having your hands and your legs coming up together, you're going to keep your legs at that full contracted phase, staying straight and locked and in control, and your arms coming down and then coming up. So just your upper body's moving now. You want to breathe consistently, breathing in on the way down and breathing out on the way up. So whenever you contract, you breathe. So contraction, you should be breathing out. When you're relaxing, to go back to the beginning of the phase, you should be breathing in. Okay, that keeps you in kind of consistent pace. Okay, so this is how it looks. So a sky touch. You want to have your hands straight behind your head in that diamond position. Okay, your legs are coming up into full contraction phase. Okay, so they're not coming up here where they're relaxing like we were talking about. They're coming right here where there's a slight pull in the lower abdominal. Okay, so if you're feeling the lower abdominal, that pull from the legs, toes are pointed, hands in diamond position, coming all the way up, breathing. Okay, so always keep your chin facing to the ceiling. A lot of people, when they do this, you got to pay attention. Don't do this. Okay, you're not reaching to touch your legs. You're reaching to try to touch the ceiling. Okay, that way there's an unlimited amount of how far you can push. You want to try to bring your shoulders up in a straight, even plane. Coming here, my hands are kind of touching, but you want to have them fully extended. Coming up. That way your back stays flat. And you'll be feeling that more in your upper abdominals in this one, but you'll feel a slight contraction in the lower abdominals because of the legs. For you beginners, like I said, if you need to, you can bend your knees more and keep yourself out of the position. Try to have your knees at that angle. Your legs should be hanging down lower in that bent position. And that'll take a little bit of stress off your lower back. This is how you do it. A body plank or a body bridge can be done two ways. You can either do it in a full body bridge position, which is done in a push-up position pretty much, where you're here. Don't be having your butt up and your back all relaxed. You want to stay contracted, okay? So your abs stay contracted and you're in a push-up position, okay? If you're in a push-up position, your hands should be directly over top of your shoulders, okay? Don't be leaning back like this, because this is at a weird angle. It hurts your shoulders, puts a lot of strain on the shoulder. You want to be directly over top, okay? You're holding yourself here, abs contracted, breathing. Okay, just like that, staying nice and controlled. You want to breathe consistently, because if you don't breathe, you're going to be losing control, you're going to be pulling to the side, you're going to be falling. A lot of people start doing this when they get tired. Okay, so this is the full body bridge position. You can also go to a modified position, which is on your elbows. This one's just as painful. Some people say one's better than the other, but I like both. You can be on your elbows. Remember, now the elbow has to be lined up with the shoulder. Okay, so rather than don't be back here because that hurts the shoulder. And don't be over here because it hurts the shoulder as well. You want to be directly over top of that elbow. Clasp your hands together, and your eyes should be looking directly down at your hands. If your eyes are over top, you're too far forward, and if they're not looking at your hands and you're too far back, that's going to hurt your shoulder as well. So you're up in position, eyes looking directly at your hands, elbow lined up with your shoulder, abs contracted, and you're holding. Okay? Just like that, nice and easy. Your feet are together as well. Your feet are going to be side by side, okay? Toes are going to be pushing up top, okay? And try to keep yourself nice and flat. Keep your legs locked too, don't bend your knees. And when you keep your abdominals contracted, a lot of people don't know how to do that. Think about squeezing your butt together, okay? I know that sounds funny, but when you squeeze your butt together, you're actually going to be contracting your core more, okay? You want to kind of act like you're doing a crunch while you're in that position. And you're going to see a little bit of an arc in your butt, but that's okay as long as it's just your abdominals contracting. Don't have your butt in the air to where it's throwing off your form. You don't want to be looking like a stink butt, okay? You want to have your butt slightly up because of abdominal contraction only.